Hey everyone, welcome back to FedBiz Exchange. I'm Michelle Brown, your coach and your mentor. And today it's time for Ask Michelle B. Today's question is from Jeremy. Jeremy wants to know why active only opportunities in FBO.gov sometimes give very outdated information. I know it's frustrating. It's not you, Jeremy. It happens to us all. You're just the first person that has made it official by submitting your question to Ask Michelle B. So now I'm going to show you an example of what you're talking about, and I'm going to tell you what to do about it. So here's an example of what Jeremy is talking about. And it's not just him, it's happened to me. And I've actually had other people to ask me, why does this happen? So I decided Jeremy's right. It would be a good idea to do a video on this because it probably happens often. What's happening is we click the active button right here. It's showing active only. It's blue. You look over here to make sure that it's last updated. I actually use some codes that I know about and that I look at for other people from time to time, and it is a trucking code 484121. Now, this is a very active code in the trucking industry. But what happens is when you put in that code and then you make sure that you have the different types of notice, sources sought, pre-solicitations, and solicitations, right? So that we don't get all of the other stuff. So this is pretty tight right here. We didn't use a NACE code and a PSC code, but we just used the NACE code. So I should get some information, and at minimum, it should be current. That's what my expectations are because I checked last updated. So this is telling me I have 5 results. First, I see this one, which is definitely current. Today is the 9th or the 10th. I can't remember. I've been traveling. So it's the 9th or the 10th. And this is the 12th of February. So this is current, and that's fine. But then it's telling me I have 4 more. I go down here, and this is not current. This is very old. It's a year old. This is not current. Both of these are sources sought. And then I come down a little bit further. There's another sources sought that's really, really old. And then there's another one that's really old. What's happening here is these contracting officers did not go into this sources sought when it was new and turned it to inactive. Once they're done with an opportunity, they do this with sources sought, they do this with solicitations. Once they're awarded, they're supposed to go in and put them in inactive status. Now, this may not be the contracting officer's fault totally. What may have happened is when they switched over to the new system, this system is not that old. And, you know, I'm just now getting used to it. I never really liked it. I think it's horrible compared to the other system, but it's what we have. And so I've just learned how to deal with it. And I couldn't be a part of Beta.Sam. I just don't have time for that. The beta testing. I wish I would have given some input, but that's what happens. So when you see a current opportunity here, go down a little bit further like I did. If the rest of this looks bad and it's really old, it's no good. It means that someone or the system did not update it to be inactive. Now, what if this Japan-wide cult services was just a few weeks old, and you wanted to let's say it was a solicitation. It was a few weeks old. The due date is past, but it's showing under current. I would just contact the contracting officer that is listed on the opportunity, keep it short, put your this title in there and the notice ID in the subject of the email, just like I trained you on in the video about how to communicate with contracting officers and ask them, is the opportunity still available, because it's showing still active. And when you see this little blue highlight right here, most of the time that means it's been updated. Now, there's one other thing that I did not mention that could be going on. Sometimes you can click on this and you can find that there's some new activity that has happened. So before you contact the contracting officer, click on the little blue update that says 1, 2, 3, 4, or 10. Sometimes there are 10 updates. Go inside like I am right now, click on view changes just to make sure there's nothing current in here. And I'm going to go all the way down, and no, there's nothing current. The history would tell me if this were an updated solicitation or sources sought. But if you just want to know if there are other opportunities that may come out like this, there's nothing wrong with you contacting these two contracting officers and asking the question. But when should you stop looking at the opportunity? As soon as I saw the second and the third opportunities listed were old, I decided, okay, that's what I usually do. I just stopped looking. If it's something that I'm seriously interested in and I would like to know more, I just get my question together, keep it very simple, and I go ahead and write the contracting officer. But it's not you, it's a system failure, and it should not be working this way. Okay?